Hello and welcome back together to this weekly update on the financial markets. I will cover today with you, like always, these four main assets: the S&P 500 index, US oil, gold, Bitcoin, and a couple of single stocks I have on my watch list. I will show you all my current trades and trades I want to take in the future. We will analyze price charts on a weekly, daily, and 4-hour time frame so that you know what to do the next coming days and weeks. Let's start directly in with the weekly time frame and the S&P 500 index. The S&P 500 index on the weekly time frame, we have an intact uptrend at the moment, printing higher highs followed by higher lows. We had a steep decline, roughly 20% to the downside after breaking this initial weekly uptrend, now drawn in dotted orange. This once broken dotted orange uptrend line now got tested from the downside again, acting as resistance so far. The MACD is coming slowly down, so I think this massive move to the upper side is exhausted already, and we have to see a turn sooner or later here. If we drop one time from lower to the daily time frame, you can see that here we can draw a daily uptrend, but yeah, not a lot of dots are connected to this line, so the line ain't that significant than other lines may be. So don't focus too much on this uptrend line. We can see a MACD divergence. We see price making higher highs while MACD is making lower highs. So divergence in price is going on for a while now. We have tested a couple of times now this broken weekly uptrend line from the downside. We tested it, got lower. Made a new slightly higher high, tested it, have been falling lower. Now again running higher. I think this smaller moves here, not that significant anymore. Sideways movement in combination with this MACD divergence and the fact that we have seen a good run since a couple of weeks and months now, that we are exhausted and we have to see sooner or later a breakdown here and a huger retest. How huge? I don't think that we will see another 20% move to the downside or something like that. The market is pretty bullish. I think we have to see a break and a retest, maybe retesting the old all-time high level here, and from there on start rising again, or a little bit deeper, I'm not sure yet, and from there on find the bottom formation and then rise again and continue the overall main uptrend. So I stay bullish for the S&P 500 index. I'm still in my long trade. After we have seen this corrective move and exceeded it again to the upper side, I would be willing to move my stop loss to my entry level to take the trade risk-free, and from there on ride it higher. My price target at the moment is roughly below $6,850. Why this area? I was using Fibonacci retracement or extension levels in this case, so I will put the highest point of the current movement. We see when that one ends, so I can adjust that one every time we see a new higher high. If we see now the corrective move, I would guess that the price at least comes up to this first extension level of this Fibonacci retracement tool. Yeah, that's my view on the S&P 500 index. On the 4-hour, there's nothing really more to say. It's just a movement in more detail. I'm awaiting a breakdown to the downside soon. I'm not expecting to exceed $6,600 to the upper side anymore, to be honest. And I think before that we see a corrective move. I can be wrong, so make decisions and research always by yourself. Next, US oil. Oil on the weekly time frame, we have a red monthly downtrend line and a red monthly support and resistance zone. Both have been broken to the upper side, and then we have seen an ABC corrective move on the weekly time frame. Point C maybe already in, maybe we'll see even a lower point. Then that lower point gets to point C. We will see. What is bearish is that we have seen a violation of this weekly support zone to the lower side and then got rejected back in. That's bearish because that could mean that we will see a continuation lower. What's positive is that we have seen a violation of this weekly orange downward line, even the fact that it was only news driven. The 200 moving average on a weekly was oftentimes support, then a turn resistance. So if we would see a move above this weekly downward line again, the monthly support and resistance zone, and in combination with the 200 moving average, that would be pretty positive for oil, and I would expect a huge rise in the oil price than in the future. But at the moment, the price is pretty indecisive. It can go either way, to the downside, to the upper side. So let's drop one time frame lower to the daily time frame. You can see we had a broken daily downtrend line, then a spike up, news driven, falling directly back down. Now also in an A, B, C correction, MACD crossing to the upper side. So that's short-term bullish for oil. I would first start about thinking long setups in oil if we see prices above point B, but to be pretty sure above point A or zero, A's here, above point 0 of this ABC corrective move. If we drop even one time frame lower to the forward time frame, you can see that we already moved here on the shorter time frame from making lower lows and lower highs to higher highs and higher lows. So from a downtrend to an uptrend, so bottom formation, and it could be well possible that we will see a break above this daily secondary downward line, or we will stop right here and decline lower. At the moment, no real short setup to short US oil. Maybe if we see a break above this for our support zone here, but I'm not sure how far the room for falling prices is. I would really like more to trade it to the upper side if we get a nice trigger event here. I will update you like always in the upcoming video, so subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Next. On gold, I also want to start with a weekly time frame that looks like an absolutely rocket to the upper side. Yeah, we had first struggle to get above this weekly resistance zone here. We tested it a couple of times, never have been able to break it to the upper side, and then finally the breakout. Since then, only higher highs followed by higher lows, and now a pretty long sideways consolidation. So price has two options to reset sentiment. The first option is always a huge decline and then start rising again in an intact long-term uptrend, or a long time in sideways consolidation and then rising without the falling portion. That's pretty bullish. So I'm bullish too on gold. You can see the MACD indicator maybe wants to cross again to the upper side, even that we are on a pretty high level, but then can sometimes stay pretty high if we are in an intact long-term uptrend. So I'm not too afraid of that. On the daily time frame, you can see we have a daily white solid uptrend line that's still intact. We have a secondary daily uptrend line broken to the downside, but you can argue this is not a classic situation to analyze only with an uptrend or downtrend line, but this is a sideways consolidation looking like a triangle. And if we exceed these major highs here to the upper side, I'm pretty sure that we will continue higher and even see the new all-time high again. So I'm already positioned in a long trade that's not triggered so far, but we will trigger if we see prices exceed the prior highs here. And then I will get into a long position with 2% of my comp balance at risk, like you can see here. And the stop loss is below the last significant low. My price targets are slightly below the $4,000 mark, because I think the $4,000 mark is a psychological mark for the market participants. And I want to get out before that. It's between the first and the second Fibonacci extension level. So pretty conservative again here. For sure, the market can also turn and decline lower, retesting maybe this daily white solid uptrend line in combination with the 200 moving average would also be absolutely fine and healthy for this long-term uptrend. So a final shakeout before rising higher, absolutely possible. So yeah, make research by yourself. That's my trading idea with clear marks and clear risk management. So you have to decide if you wait maybe for a complete breakout to a new all-time high level. That would be even safer way to see this or trade the situation, or you wait, or if that ain't happening, we will probably see a retest here, and then you can think about getting long if you see here a bottom formation and a breakout from a shorter-term downtrend line. The forward time frame, you can see that we have moved also a lot in this range here between this 2 blue 4-hour support resistance zones, or in this case it was support, in this case it was resistance. At the moment we are struggling at the resistance 4-hour zone here. If we manage to get clearly above that, I think a long trade is reasonable, at least in my view. That's all I have for gold. next Bitcoin. Bitcoin starting also the weekly time frame. You can see we are in intake uptrend, making higher highs and higher lows on this huge time frame. We already reached the first extension level of the Fibonacci retracement tool. So pretty normally we'll see here a pullback to the downside, a corrective move. The thing that concerns me a little bit is that we have MACD divergence clear to every eye. And that normally means that prices has to come down. How far is the question now? We will exceed the prior low of the prior ABC correction. We'll see it in the lower time frame better. Then I would get probably taken out of my long trade because I have to manage my risk here. I hope that we'll see price hold at the prior highs here and continue from there on higher. We will see. One time frame lower on the daily time frame. You can see that the daily white solid uptrend line is already broken to the downside. At the moment we are retesting the prior high level here on this weekly support zone, support and resistance. Once it was resistance, now it turns support, hopefully. And my expectancy or my wishful thinking will lead me to the idea we'll find here at the bottom and continue higher from here. That's not safe because we have this broken daily uptrend line. It's also possible that we'll see a huge decline, even exceeding my stop loss level here below this ABC pattern. Wouldn't be great. I have to think about how to manage that if we get near that zone. If I once move my stop loss, I don't really like to do this because that's a no-go normally in trading, to readjust risk. Yeah, but I'm still believing in this long-term uptrend on an investment standpoint, as long as this weekly uptrend line stays intact. So if we see prices right here, I will probably load up on my private account, buying some more shares in Bitcoin and to profit from the last bull run in this 4-year cycle. At least that's the statistical edge we have through this cycle analysis. And yeah, of course, everything can come different than in prior cycles and prior price history. That can also be the case, but that would be definitely the end of this 4-year cycle idea. At least in the idea, we'll see a final push to the upper side. And this would be the all-time high here for the cycle. Not believing in that, but it's definitely in the cards. So be prepared for everything. But if everything is going well, we'll see soon here bottom formation, maybe some more sideways action, then higher highs and new all-time highs. If that's the case, where's my price target? My price target is around $143,000 for a coin. I think that's realistic if we see new all-time highs from here. Or even higher, but I stay conservative with that one. That would bring me a nice profit of $7,700, so I would be pretty fine with that, even if we go higher. That's all I have for Bitcoin. What follows next are the single stocks, starting with AOS. Yeah, AOS or AO Smith Corporation. On the daily time frame, we had prior similar situations to the current situation. I was going on all the details on the similarities in prior videos, so you can rewatch them if you like to. At the moment, everything went like planned. We had this downtrend, we had the breakout, retest, second breakout, slightly high, second retest, and then the final push higher. I went into a long position supported by the 200 moving average, and if we draw one time frame lower to the forward time frame, you can even see an head and shoulders formation with the neckline here with the blue support and resistance zone broken to the upper side. My take profit is below the all-time highs. My take profit is on the same height, and the structure here is deep, so the likelihood of getting my take profit triggered is pretty high if this works out like expected, or in the price situations, because they look all pretty exactly like this here, and they would have worked out every time from the history of this stock. So good statistical edge. Stop loss below the last significant low here, and at the moment near break-even level, but I'm expecting that this support zone here holds and will continue higher the next couple of days and weeks. Next, Netflix. Yeah, Netflix on the daily time frame. I was doing a backtest on Netflix from 2016, I think it was, till today, and the result of this backtest was that it's a good idea to trade a MACD crossover that is below the zero line to the upper side is a good idea. So I placed already my buy stop order here with the stop loss below the prior low, and exceeding this high here to the upper side would trigger my long position with a risk reward ratio of 2 to 1, risking 0.5% of my account balance in this trade. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see it more in detail. We have a downtrend line on the 4-hour and support and resistance zone on the 4-hour, and if we exceed both to the upper side, I will get into a long position. We had here a MACD divergence on the 4-hour time frame. Here everything speaks for rising prices. If we exceed that one to the upper side, the 200 moving average is also here in play, and at the moment still resistance, and then if we see a push higher, it will turn to support. My price target is placed with this Fibonacci tool, measured from the low to the high of the movement to retest the stop at the moment at the 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level, and so my take profit is placed at the first extension level, giving me this 2 to 1 risk reward ratio if that happens. So far everything in play, but not triggered yet. Next, Investor AB. Investor AB is a long-term uptrending stock, so ideal for long trades. We had here sideways consolidation with this big corrective move to the downside, aligning with the SP500 index movement. Since then, we have built out here a daily support and resistance zone, often tested and rejected price from this area. The 200 moving average was one support, then turned resistance, and at the moment still is resistance. And yeah, well, my view is that if we see price pushing higher, exceeding the prior highs here in combination with the 200 moving average to the upper side, we got a good chance of reaching new all-time highs without seeing prices ever below this major low here. So I placed my stop loss with 0.5% risking below this swing low here. If we see price above this swing high, I will get in my long position with the price target even below the first Fibonacci extension level with the risk reward ratio of 2 to 1. So yeah, pretty solid trading setup in my view. Next, Tesla. Yeah, Tesla is coming out of a sideways consolidation with a broken daily downward line to the upper side, moving afterwards inside and triangle formation. We have seen the first breakout, retest, and then the second break above this retest. That triggered a long position or buy stop order on my account, risking 0.5% of my account balance on this trade, placed below the midpoint of this triangle formation and even this prior swing low to protect this stop loss. My price target is 2 to 1 risk reward ratio away and below the prior all-time high, so that could act again as resistance for price. So I placed my stop loss below that and my take profit below that. So far maybe I got too fast into long position. Maybe I would have been more conservative and placing it below this prior high here, because that seems in a retro perspective like it was also a huge resistance zone for price. So we got to this level and reversed, got me slightly in a long position and then directly now minus $200. At the moment, still everything intact, no lower low. I would get concerned if we exceed this low here to the downside or this secondary forward uptrend. Until that stays in check and not broken, I think this trade is still a great trade with a good risk reward ratio and nice risk management. Yeah, at the moment, waiting for price to fulfill the movement to the upper side. If not, it will turn against me and take me out of this trade with 0.5% of my account balance at loss. That's all I have for Tesla. Next, Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway, long-term rising stock from the legendary investor Warren Buffett. I'm sure you're all familiar with that stock. We had on a daily time frame a break out of a price channel that's uptrending to the downside, retesting this major quite solid daily uptrend line. From there I'm reversed in combination with a MACD divergence, pushing prices higher. We exceeded the 200 moving average that went from support to resistance to the upper side, now turning support again and rising higher, retesting at the moment the lower side of this uptrending price channel. I hope that we'll manage to get back in. My stop loss is placed below the lowest point of this corrective move and below this daily white solid uptrend line. So if we exceed that one, we will probably fall even lower, all the way back down, maybe to the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level in combination with this weekly orange dotted uptrend line. So then I'm not willing to stay longer in a long trade. Yeah, so far it went well. We are in a slight profit. My take profit is 2.1, 2 to 1 risk reward ratio far away. Speculating on new all-time highs here, but inside this uptrend price channel would give me then 1% in my account balance in profit if we see this take profit area reached by price. If we draw one time from lower to the 4-hour time frame, you can see that the 200 moving average and the 4-hour time frame supported this trading idea, and we have seen prices getting above this 4-hour support resistance zone, having here a nice retest and then pushing higher, getting me into profit area in this trade. That's my view on Berkshire Hathaway. Staying bullish, but expect here some resistance before continuing. Next, Snap-on. Snap-on Cooperated is a long-term uptrending stock, and the weekly orange solid uptrend line is also still intact. We see normally sideways movement, then a breakout, then sideways movement, then a breakout, then some sideways movement or corrective movement in this case, and I was able to draw a daily white solid downtrend line here. We already moved from a downtrending market to an uptrending market, at the moment struggling here with this daily resistance zone in combination with the 200 moving average. That's at the moment still resistance for price, and this white solid downtrend line. If we manage to see price break above this daily downtrend line, the 200 moving average and the prior high here, then I think the likelihood of rising prices in the stock are high, and my stop loss will be placed below the last swing low here to protect my stop loss. My take profit target is again 2 to 1 risk reward away, speculating also here on a new all-time high, but staying below the first extension level of the Fibonacci retracement tool, measuring from the low of the movement to the high of the movement. Like you can see, that tool has worked here already pretty well, because price declined all the way back down to the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, which is pretty important with that tool, and in combination with this prior daily resistance zone now turning support, it worked beautifully well for a turn from a downtrend to an uptrend. That's all I have for Snap-on. Next, CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike, not so long history so far on the financial markets, like you can see here, but long enough to see that it's long-term uptrending. The weekly uptrends are still intact. We have seen higher highs followed by higher lows. At the moment, price has a huge decline past this and is now testing support levels here, daily support zone and the 200 moving average, not the at the moment existing secondary weekly uptrend line. For that, we will have seen a push higher, then another decline, making an ABC corrective move, and from there on expected in higher prices. This is still in the cards, but because we have seen the test now of the 200 moving average, a break of this daily downtrend line to the upper side and across from the MACD indicator below the 0 line, which is normally bullish, like you have seen in my back test of the NFLX stock. I haven't tested that yet. Well, CrowdStrike, the past history, so I haven't made a back test on this, but that's in general bullish sign. I waited for that one to come down, so breakout retest. Like you can see, we have done that. We have seen the breakout, we have seen the retest, and now I place my buy stop order slightly above that. So if we get a new push confirming this breakout of this daily downtrend line, retest, breakout retest to the upper side, then I want to get long in this trade with my stop loss below the last low of this major movement to protect my stop loss. And yeah, then I will ride prices higher. My take profit target is, like in every single stock so far, 2 to 1 risk reward ratio far away, speculating on new all-time high, but staying below the first extension level of the Fibonacci retracement tool, measured from the low to the high of the movement. Retest 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level got tested, and we got rejected here, so it has some significance here. I'm expecting now rising prices. Of course, we can exceed the prior low to the downside, maybe retest even the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level in combination with this weekly uptrend line. Then I would delete this trading setup and make a new one, because then we can readjust the downtrend line and speculate on the next breakout high. That's all I have for this weekly update on financial markets. I hope you got something out of it, and hopefully you'll see my next video next week. So subscribe to the channel, like the video to support my work here, and until next time, bye bye.